Hello, 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 Miss I. And how are you
Hello.
doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Very well.
Thank
How are
you
you?
so much for. I'm okay. I'm okay. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this interview. I feel as though I know you, but I don't know you. So I know of you in terms of us having a mutual friend. In
Mhm.
fact, we've probably got more mutual friends than just our dear one, because quite a few people I saw in the your last performance, I knew them as well. So we can talk about how that collaboration came about. But
Mhm.
as an introduction, um, tell us a little bit about yourself in terms of where you grew up and your heritage.
Okay, so my mother was born in Trinidad and Tobago. My dad was born in Jamaica, rest in peace to both of them. Um, I was born in Liverpool, so I used to talk like that all the time. I'm a
Oh,
Scouser.
right. Oh, we won't hold that against you. You didn't support Liverpool though as a team, did you?
No, well, I used to be honest, I used to play football in Liverpool in my school, for my school. I didn't have a lot of games. It's just like towards the ending of the year of the primary school, they saw me playing in the playground, and they said that we need her on our team. And funny enough, I have a brother with a different mother, literally. And our first game, we played against my brother in the school. So it was so
Right.
weird to see him on the court because, I never used to see him so often. And to see him on the court, I'm like, hold on. Two of us was like, huh? So that was, yeah. No, I don't support Liverpool only if they're winning. That's the
Okay.
answer.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not too sure how they're doing at the minute, but yes, so you grew up in Liverpool. Tell me what your experiences was like growing up there.
In Liverpool, well, I left in when I was 12. And so school was fine. It was integrated. It was a community. It was more of class than anything else. So, those who live in the same area, um, we mostly went to the same school, and we all blended and shared. And leaving Liverpool to go to Jamaica to live when I was 12 was I embraced it because I seem to embrace change s- a lot, even from a young age. So I embraced leaving Liverpool to go to Jamaica. Went to the youth club eventually. Went to the youth club. My father was very a disciplinarian. Can't go there. If we go there, we come back a certain time, sooner than everybody else. But we weren't allowed to go out often, although not a lot of people knew that I did a little bit of tap dance. I did a little of, um, I played baseball for England in Liverpool. And what else? And I learned how to play pool in Liverpool at such a young age. So don't challenge me, please.
Okay.
I'm talking to the guys out there. I'm like, no, leave it, chat. Yeah, yeah. Liverpool. I mean, leaving at 12, it was. I just love people, really. Spirit, just nice people, and I got
So
along with everybody.
so have you got a big extended family in Jamaica at that
Well,
time?
well, to be honest, in our house in Jamaica, in Liverpool, sorry, we had. I mean, I can talk for days, but we had. I'm the youngest out of four daughters of my mum's four daughters. I'm the youngest out of my dad's. How many? Seven. Um, and moving to Jamaica, we do have a big family, but we never really engaged in such the big family because my dad died in 2012, and the year he died, he went to his brother's funeral in the February of that year. I never met that brother. And he was living in Jamaica. And I, me and my youngest sister, I'm the youngest, but the one next to me, we lived in Jamaica for 3 years. I went to school in Jamaica
Right.
and I never met that uncle. There's an aunt that died that same year in the August. And I think we met her, didn't really know her. And then my dad died in the September of that year. But I found out that year, just before my dad died, I looked on Facebook and I found a whole 10 generations of family in the
Oh,
UK
wow.
that my dad never knew.
Right.
And I told him, and I'm like, Dad, look, da, 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 da. And he was like, who are they? And I'm like, they're family. And then I connected with them, and we are. But it was my dad's brother generation. So yeah,
That's
there's a lot
amazing.
of family. There's a lot of family, and not just in Jamaica, in America, in the UK,
Of course, of course. I mean, I haven't even touched Trinidad
Canada.
yet. We're still in Jamaica, but you
Yeah,
lived there for 3 years, so that's quite
yeah.
a substantial time. Describe what a perfect day in Jamaica looked like for you when you were growing up.
It was okay. Before we went to school, me and my sister, we went out to explore. We went for walks. So we was just like walking in the area, and that's how we met our friends that most of them we still know today. We just walked, in the community in the daytime towards the evening, nighttime, and just walking around and just meeting them. And then going back and seeing them and and just getting to know people there. But the weather, all that, no cold, no layers and layers and layers of clothes. It was beautiful. It was a new horizon. We never visited, me and my sister, we never visited Jamaica. We just went to live. And so it was a
Right,
brand new horizon for us. Um, when we started to go to school, I was in a netball team. I was in a track team. I was in long jump. Nearly every sport that I could be in, I was in. And so after school, I used to stay back and do whatever sports on whatever day, and then come back. And after we would have dinner, me and my sister would keep that trend and just go into the community and just, we never watched much TV at all, at all. And being a track star, what as an adult, I realized that being a track star and being so much in the sports, I didn't even know there was anything such as Olympics.
right.
Never knew. And I thought, you know what? I could have been in that. But hey, wasn't meant to be.
Environment, yeah.
Mm.
Because I do think that other things were on the horizon for you, but do you know the reason why you came back to the UK?
Oh
Um,
yes, because my mom and dad they split. They split
right.
up and yeah. And so we had to come back to England.
Yeah. And was that London that you came back to, or did you
So
go back to
yes,
Liverpool?
good question. Straight to London because that's where my dad was. My dad came to, my mom had to go straight to New York because she had a ticket. She was going for shopping and she had to, that was her escape. So she went to New York to some of her family. My dad came to England and then he sent for us. And then, yeah, we came straight to London. I mean, my sister was like, we want to go back to Liverpool. That's where we're from. We don't know anybody in London. And um, we did go back to Liverpool after after maybe about 6 months. Me and my
Right.
sister, we were um, determined. So we packed our bags and we left my dad, and we connected with the family and just went to Liverpool. And then I came back to London because I wanted to go to college.
Right.
And remember YTS? So
I do. Youth
I joined
training scheme.
YTS. Yeah, yeah. I joined YTS in Liverpool. And then after that, I came to London, went to college and done my basic, stayed in London. and I'm still in London.
So, in terms of where are you based? Are you north, south, east, or west London?
Well, when we came to London, I we was all situated in Lewisham, got family in Catford, and that was our base. But I've lived east, north,
All right.
southwest. I'm back in. I would say I'm back in an area I used to live in. Let me just say it like that.
Yeah, no problem at all. Um, so you've had experiences of growing up out of London. You've had experiences of growing up in Jamaica. Tell us about the Trinidadian side. Are you someone that goes backwards and forwards to Trinidad um, all the time?
Um, I would say when my daughter was younger, because I have a princess, and when she was younger, about two, three, four, five, we went to Trinidad maybe about 4 or 5 times. Um, and then it paused. Why did it pause? Because you know why? Because my mom was living in New York, and so I was going to her rather than
Right.
traveling everywhere else. So I was going to we were both was going to New York on a yearly basis. And
And I
so
suppose things were a lot different as well. You could take your child out of school and face no penalties, so you could take them, abroad and everything else. And for me, it felt as soon as they started secondary school, in particular, they were a lot more firmer about the need for your child to be in school. You had to get written permission to take your child outside of those times. So it's very different, very different back then to what it is now. But you said
mm,
your mum was based in New York, so you'd go on
yeah.
an annual basis. What are your memories of visiting mum in New York?
Well, me and my mom was like my best friend because every time I go, it was everywhere I was going. Me and her would be going. Uh, Cinema. It would always be a thing that we go to the cinema
Right.
to watch um, a black, a specific, because America, was spitting out, and still are, spitting out
Yeah.
black movies that doesn't even show in the UK or before it showed in the UK. And so we would always go and watch a black written, directed movie that, especially Tyler Perry's. I mean, I took my mom to go and see, which one was it? One of Tyler Perry's plays before he started doing
Right.
movies. And I took her to see a
Was that
play.
Diary of a Mad Black Woman?
No, not
No.
that
Well,
one.
he's got a few, hasn't he?
Yeah, I can't even think what it was. It was the man's the was it David
Oh,
Ma
yeah.
um
Tamala is her name. Tamala.
yes,
Tamala
Pamela.
and David Mann.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I think
Mm.
that it was the play they were in. I can't think. But you all who are listening will know. Type it in and in the
Yeah.
comments. But yeah, it was. I took my mom and my aunt to see that, and it was amazing. And I think all of that was. This was all before I became on stage as an adult, and all of that was like seeping into my subconscious because I always loved
Yes.
acting when I was younger.
Yeah, I mean, very much some similarities there as well, because I remember being about 5 or 6 years old and going to the ballet. So the school, primary school, took us to see Swan Lake, and something just embedded. from seeing dance in that way. We had ballet lessons when we were growing up, and there's something about seeing ourselves on stage. So my mum would take us to see a pantomime at least at Christmas. So we've seen the majority of them. And again, something just imprints there that when I went on to secondary school, I was very much interested in drama and
Mhm.
doing productions like Oliver. Believe it or not,
Mhm.
I was Mr. Bumble back in the school play. We did Grease and all the other big ones.
Oh,
But
wow.
what was it that happened to you? What sparked that thing thinking, actually, you know what, I want to be on stage, I want to be an actor.
Okay. I think I was about 10 in school in Liverpool. We did Paddington Bear, and I was a cleaner in a shop or something, and I had the stage to myself. So I had a monologue, and it was so funny that my head teacher, um, mm, he was in the front row and he was crying with laughter. And when I saw that I was actually doing that, that was a seed that was planted. When I was the church that I used to go to, we always used to do. There was, when conventions or
Yes.
whatever, we used to compete against different churches, and there was talent. There was always a talent show every year, and so I was always in the drama section, and we had characters. There was a character that I took from that I became a one woman show, so to speak. And I had two characters from that. But I came back from New York and I bought a cassette. What's her name? Sister Cantaloupe, her name is in
Okay.
America. She's not, I bought a cassette. So I came back and I was listening to it and she was so funny. And all I saw was her picture at the front of the cassette. And I thought to myself, I can do that. And that's where I got those characters from the plays that we was doing. And I ran with that. And I was getting bookings. I was, yeah, I was getting my pastor loved it. I gate crashed a convention and I'm like, told the person who had control of the mic, I'm like, call me on. It's not planned. I'm like, my pastor, I know you know what I mean? My pastor loved it. And I used to get 2 times I gate crashed a convention and I performed and I performed. And it was I got bookings from it. I got bookings from it from different churches. And then I was fundraising events, dinner events. I would get bookings and do those until until I saw Love Sax and All That Jazz, written and directed by Alan Charles.
Right. And can you tell us what was that about?
So, what was it about? Is it three ladies? I'm talking like 15 years ago. Three. I don't want to go into details, but um, it was so hilarious
Oh,
that
it's a
I went.
comedy.
Yeah, yeah, it was Alan does comedy. It was so hilarious that I went to him after. And because I knew Alan, because he was on the circuit, he was doing
Right.
spoken word. And he would do his spoken word was funny. So it, it wouldn't be like a comedy stand up, but he would do spoken word, which was funny. And he used to come to our church and, I
Right.
connect. But I knew him. I don't know if he remembered me. But after the show, watching his show, I said to him, I need to be in this play. And he was like, I said, don't you, whatever, tried to say, you used to come to my church,
Reconnect.
tried to connect. But he took my details, and this was all before Facebook. So Facebook, it was literally around the time of Facebook starting out. So we weren't connected on Facebook. So one day, after meeting, having a conversation with Alan, I wrote on my status. Remember, we all used to write on our status
Yeah.
very daily or whatever word. One particular day, I put on my status, I need to step into my creative world. I think it was the same day or the next day, Alan rang me. He said, "Are you serious?" Now, he never saw we weren't friends. So he called me and he said, "Are you serious about coming on in this play?" I'm like, "Yeah." I went to rehearsal. From rehearsal, I was in the play. We went to Trinidad and Tobago.
Oh, wow.
We did a UK tour and we went to Trinidad and Tobago. I didn't have a main role as such, but I was understudy for one of the main roles. And we went to Liverpool and he allowed me to do the main role in Liverpool. And I did it in Scouse as well. Like, and they said, "You did the accent so well." And I'm like, "I was born here." But
I love how you can switch it up
well,
when you're ready. Yeah.
it's in the system, you know what I mean? Um, but yeah, so then I had after that, I worked mainly with Mark Gray. After that season, I did drama for 10 years with Mark Gray
Right.
in all his plays like Asylum, Healed. We did a trilogy, which is Asylum, Healed, End the Silence. Then we did, not in any particular order, um, um, Windrush, the Betrayal is another one we did. And coming up, we did a play called Lockdown. And then that season had come to a close. And then Alan then came and approached me last year, and not was it last year? It wasn't last year. It was the year before, and said he's doing a play. Would I be in? I'm like, yeah, to come back because Mark Gray didn't do comedy at
Right.
all,
Right.
and I loved the drama, being crying on the spot and doing dramatic stuff. And then Alan came back, and I'm like, to get back into comedy is great. And then I read the title. Why didn't I get married?
Yes, I want to pause you. Want to pause you there because I do want to cover that. So in all, you spent 10, 15 years
15 years.
yeah, doing that, amazing body of work. Um and it sounds quite perseverable when you said, I want to step into my creativity, and then within days that's manifesting in a way as well, that opened the door for you to explore all of that creativity. Before we get to that particular play, have you been involved in film? And if people wanted to find the films that you were in, where would they go?
So yes, I mean, I've been involved in other plays as well, like the production. I did Queen Phillipa, who was one of the first queens, Black queens in the UK, in England, I should say. Um,
Right.
and I worked with Menelik Shabazz, yes, rest in peace, who
Yes.
died during
Yes.
lockdown. Yeah, I was honored enough to be in his last feature documentary type film, and then when
What
he
was that
moved to
called?
that was Pharaoh's Unveiled.
Right. Right.
Yeah, um, there's some clips on YouTube that can be found.
Right.
And he moved to Zimbabwe with his beloved, and that's where he passed. But before he passed, he actually done a short film documentary type, and he used my image, and my image is actually is on
Oh,
the
wow.
cover of that. Yeah, called The Path.
You know what? We're coming up with more similarities because a very long story short, a friend of mine is related to him. And she
Mm.
was just at the point where he said, "Send me her books, send me her book, Loving the Brothers, over for me to have a look at." So I've come really, really close to turning the book into a series. And then unfortunately, he passed away, as you had
Right.
said. But yeah, very similar pathways in terms of knowing the same. I knew we had more than just one person in common, and our paths crossed like that. Didn't he write a play
Just-
about Lovers Rock?
yes, a movie,
A
The Story
movie,
of
yeah,
Lovers Rock.
that's it.
And
Yeah.
I think, is it One Love? Something about, he did a documentary and he involved the
Mm.
community about love and relationships. Um, he done Burning, did he do Burning an Illusion?
I had that written
Yes,
down, but I wasn't sure. Was it? He did Burning
I,
the Right.
I do
Yeah.
believe so. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah.
Very powerful. This week we're experiencing, another loss of a great man in the community in terms of
It,
Jesse Jackson, and the
Jackson.
influence that he had. And it does remind me of when, this brother passed away as well, in terms of
Mm,
losing a great person. But I
great.
suppose the great thing about having a body of work like that is always there, isn't it? It doesn't go, it's your
Access.
legacy, and
Hmm.
it's there. And he made his imprint on the world, before he left, and left a great legacy, but legacy behind him. Now, in another part of my life, I have got to meet JD. JD
From,
is a choreographer,
oh, okay.
and
Because
I
I know
think
a
he
JD
did.
in Trinidad, you see, so I thought, is it the same person?
Okay, this is JD
No.
Douglas. And recently, I think he did the costumes for Black Heroes.
Okay.
And yeah, and when I was on YouTube searching, looking up him, I saw your comment um, under one of his, congratulating him on his work. So I was meant to
Okay.
ask you if you do know who JD Douglas is and have your paths crossed with him.
Well, the name doesn't sound familiar, but maybe if I know his face, because I'm more remembering faces than names. But I did work with the Queen Phillipa, who I did was written by Kareem Jamal, who was the MD in Black Heroes in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, yeah. Have you ever been in that production?
No, I watched it though. I watched it. No, I didn't hear anything about it apart from it was there, and I'm like, oh my God, I could have been in this. But I
Yeah, it was
was,
fantastic.
yeah, it was. I think it was the opening for Black History for us, or for many in the UK. Um, I was Claudia Jones, the story of
Yes,
Claudia Jones. I was in that one, and that
right.
was co-written or directed by Flip Fraser's ex-wife. So that's another connection there.
Yeah, yeah. I can imagine. I mean, I've heard of, is it Talawa? I've heard of the Black Theatre Cooperative,
Yeah.
very much part of that. So people like Judith Jacobs, Chris Cummins, and Janet Kay. So very much around that era where they were doing loads of productions at the Theatre Royal Stratford East, which is near me. So being able to sit in the green room with these young people,
Oh,
was an exciting time to be around, that group and around the theatre and what was happening. But so yes, I used to be in and out of the theatre all the time, and certainly when
Mm,
I had my own children, I made sure that they saw a West End show once a year, and they also saw Panto in December as well. So that would either be um, Stratford East, or it would be
mm,
Hackney Empire. We saw Umoja when they came. I don't know if you got the
mm.
chance to see that production when they were coming here, and that really did spark interest in theatre for both of my children as well. It became an expectation that we would go and see a play or would go
Mm,
to see a panto. They knew they were more than capable of sitting for the length of time that it takes, because some of these productions can be quite long.
yeah.
But they were excited about being able to go. I think if I searched their bedrooms, I could probably find some of the old programs. We used to always buy it and study it and look at the different actors. Lion King, for example, was one
Mm,
where they even were had a fly represented on the stage about how well it was all done and how well it was put together. But tell me, Miss I, how did you become involved with this last production? Why didn't I get married?
well, Alan, like I said, approached me,
Yeah,
and he asked me to audition, send it, no, not audition, but send a self-tape of three of the characters. And I, I, it was a long process because what he wanted was for me to, just present a self, three separate self tapes for three different women. And he said he wanted to know which one was favorable for me to do. So last year, when he contacted me and he goes, "Are you still in? You still want to be part of it?" So he gave me one of those characters. And he gave it to me, and then 4 weeks later, he said, "Mister, I need a favor." I'm like, "What?" He said, "I need you to play the lead." I'm like, "Yo, bro, I've just learned the one you gave me." Now you want me to the one he gave me was like, um I would say less than 30 lines, let's say. The lead is like over 150 lines. And I had to learn that in a short space of time. And I'm like, oh, you're giving me pressure. But then at the end of the day, you know what I mean? I embrace challenges because Queen Phillipa was a challenge. It was 4 A4 pages, monologue. But this was dialogue as well as monologues. And you know what? I just embraced it and I just did it. And it is being done. We have a Birmingham cast, we have a Trinidad cast, Trinidad and Tobago cast, and I was selected to join the Trini cast last year in November because the one who played my role or playing a role wasn't well. And so I
right.
joined the Trini cast, blessed to join them, and I'm here doing
How long were you in Trinidad for? And
3 weeks.
how was that production received by people from home?
Well, it was how it was received. Well, thank God they could understand me, but and it was kind of a struggle for me to, although I know Trinidad, I know Trinis, but they have their own lingo as everyone else in the entire world. They have their own lingo. They talk
Yeah,
fast and the accent. So it was a big challenge for me, and especially me being fresh in my script as well. So they loved it. There's reviews on even on my page on Instagram. They loved it, and you know there's reviews. I mean, the review speaks for itself. it was an amazing challenge. We did. I don't know if did you see KFC? We
Yes,
did.
I did. I saw that, and I suppose that's what piqued my interest was number one,
Okay.
you're in it. Number two, the little vignettes and clips that you did leading up to the to promote the production
Yeah.
as well.
Yes.
Were just as funny. But I have to say, I feel a bit duped because I went looking for tickets and there weren't any, and you really played down your involvement in it. It was a shock to me to see you on stage so frequently in one of the principal parts, and but you really did play it down. So yeah, I'm in this play. Yeah, I've got tickets. Yes, I can. We can arrange to meet up, but I was not prepared for how frequently you were on stage. It was good to see Eugenie Burton play her part. And I know that
Hmm.
she's an experienced actor in faith-based productions.
Hmm.
Um, then I saw Colin
Yeah.
Burton on stage as well. I'm not going to spoil
Yeah.
it for everybody, but it was good to
So,
see him in a different way. But I have to say that because I'm pointing everybody out to my husband, I'm saying, oh, that's Miss Si. She's the one that Oh, that's Colin, and that's Eugenie. But nothing prepared me for how much a chunk of this play revolved around you. As someone that can have stage fright and get quite nervous, how do you deal with that?
well, how do I deal with it? I just have to give it to God.
Right,
Because I mean, everybody gets nervous. Even my pastor at the time, rest in peace, he always used to say every Sunday he was nervous to go and
right,
preach the word. So for me, I pulled from a couple of my actor friends, especially in America, and I'm like, how do you deal with nervous? And the advice I got was to just breathe. And as simple as that sounds, because a lot of times we hold our breath and we hold our breath and we do not, and we're not realizing that we're not even breathing properly. So that was a great help, just to breathe and step out and do what you know you're supposed to do. That's all I can say is just breathe. Just breathe, be confident in what you're doing, remembering what you have to do, and just do what you have to do.
yes, I mean, what came up for me was very much around TEDx as well. The advice was the same. So we were doing lots of breath work. I worked with a coach who, breathe in for 4, hold it for 4, breathe out for 4, all of those kind of techniques, so that your words are coming out fluid and clear and as though you're in control. Because if you can control your breath, you can control your words and you can control
Yeah,
everything around you. But you're also presented with other challenges that you don't see when you're in rehearsals, for example. And there was a little bit of heckling or what do you call it, audience participation, where people were, you know, losing their minds. And I think it was
laughing.
very clever with how some of the actors on stage dealt with that, almost
Yeah,
incorporating and encouraging it into the play.
yeah.
Does things like that ever put you off? Because it would floor me if somebody suddenly heckled, and I wasn't expecting it.
Um, I think the only way it will put you off if you're not confident and not sure what you're saying. If you know what you're saying, then you can just pause. Because the thing is, especially when they're laughing and they're laughing a lot, then we have to pause until the laughing is kind of come to a close,
Yeah.
because we don't want the audience to miss out
To miss.
on key points and certain things. So you it's the breathing and pausing and then moving on. I mean, there was one time I was on, not this play, but I was in a play and I had a rose in my hand, and I threw it into the audience, just as the woman who caught it, she threw it back on the
Oh
stage, and I wasn't
my
expecting
gosh.
that. It was just so funny. I'm like, okay. And would you believe that even at the end of that play, she came and asked for that rose back? I'm like, no.
I
You
agree.
threw it back. You lost. It was, yeah. So you just have to just just know what you're doing and what you're saying, and then
Yeah.
you shouldn't be thrown off.
And the other thing I have found I would find challenging is inappropriate laughter. And we're very good at that. If we see something on stage that makes us feel uncomfortable, we have almost like a nervous little laugh. But when that's loud, or more than one person is not is laughing in the wrong spot, um, how does that present? How does that challenge you as an actor as well?
It happens all the time, even in the same play. Because when we was in a play with when I was in a play with Margaret, what play was it? Uh, it happens often, so I can't even pinpoint which one.
Right.
Like, especially if you're having every night, like 3 nights or 4 nights or 5 nights run. And every night is a different night. And people was laughing in different places. And after the play, we would be like, did you notice that they laughed in? Just you expect the unexpected and you just move on. It happens.
Yeah. Well, again, I felt that the cast was gracious. They paused in the right places. They were contained. And if there were any errors or they were thrown, we as an audience certainly, didn't see it. Maybe because I've done a little bit of drama before, but I was thinking, oh, they're laughing. This isn't funny. This is serious. This is serious stuff. Um, um, I contacted Eugenie after the production, and I wanted to know, how do you come down from that incredible high that you're on at the end? You come on, you bow, you curtsy, you receive your flowers, you receive your accolades. When you walk off and the curtain closes for the last time, especially when you don't know when the next performance is going to be, how do you contain? I mean, I said to Eugenie, did you sleep that night? How do you come down from that, or what do you do with that energy that you generate?
Well, me personally, I like to have give thanks to Rowan, who um, plays Glenroy. We live in the same area, so he drops me home, and we always have a breakdown. We have a breakdown, and we express, and especially Hackney, not Hackney, because I went with family, but the Broadway, 2 days, Sunday night gone.
Yeah,
I was on such a high, and I can't stop talking. And the two of us was like talking all the way home. Oh, we reach home already. It's offload. You have your offload, and
yeah,
then for me, and then you just I go through what I could have done better, what I um did do better than last time, and just to embrace what happened, and giving God thanks, of course, and just celebrate. I celebrate because my thing is to um I love acting. whether it's drama, comedy, whatever. I just love making people laugh, making people cry. Um, in performance wise, not in real life. I mean, in real life, I like
Of
making people
course.
laugh. But
Yeah.
I just like the performance, and I think I got that from my dad. I got it from my dad, and from my dad, and from my mom's dad,
Right.
because he was a Calypsonian.
Okay. Yeah.
He was a Calypsonian, and my granddad's brother was used to play mass in carnival. So, there's performance on both sides of my family.
Yes.
And there's not many of us that has taken that on. And I guess I've got the gene, if I can say that.
Have you heard of the term tabanka?
It rings a bell, but I don't know what it means.
Tabanka, they normally associate it with carnival. So after fetting, after Juve, after everything else, when it's all done and dusted, and all the time you invested into that particular project, the following day or the day after, you're left thinking, what do I do
What now?
next? What what do I do with my time? So after all the rehearsals that you've done with practicing your lines, after the performances, and you've had success up and down the country with Why Didn't I Get Married? But when there is a halt and there are no more performances, maybe you're not meeting up as regularly with the cast and everything else. What's that feeling like, and how do you manage it?
That's kind of like now because we haven't got another show until the first, which is a few weeks away. Um,
First of March.
March, yeah. I'm not, that is in Leicester. I'm not sure if I'm in that one because like I said, we've got Birmingham cars and
Yeah.
we don't know, you know, um, I haven't been told if I'm in that one yet. But it is, it is a moment where it's like, okay, what do I do myself for real? And Joe, who used to be my banter person in when I used to work with Mark Gray, um, Joseph Quartson, we always used to have that conversation. It's like, oh, what now? And it's I'm very creative, whether I'm on the stage or not.
Right. Right.
And I've got a manuscript. I've actually got my laptop open so I can get my book on the ground. So I am going to, yeah, I'm going to get that finally done at some point, and I'll be calling on you.
Well, I'm delighted to hear that. Is it fiction? Is it a memoir? What are you writing at the minute?
Um, One is a self-help. Actually,
Right.
they're both self-helps. They're
Right.
both self-helps, and I'll just leave it as that for now.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't believe in oversharing until it's time to
Yeah,
share. So perhaps the second time when I interview you, you can, you'll have something more to say about the title, when it's likely to be out, and so on. So that would be absolutely fantastic. So it's good to know that you're managing the time in between productions, because I know that a lot of actors can get quite low during that period
yeah.
after all of that hype and then the production, and then everything comes to a standstill. Do you work alongside your drama career, or is this the only thing that you do?
Well, I, I, I do acting, um, supporting acting. That's what they call it now, essays.
Hmm.
And so every so often, it's like I'm with an agency, but I don't. When it comes, it comes, and I may do an odd job here and there. Um, with the extra work, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never heard of the term supporting acting. What
Yeah,
does that
they
involve?
changed it now. It's called supporting an artist.
Right. Sorry, I still
essays.
don't understand. What are you an
So
understudy for someone else
no,
or
no,
what?
no, no, no,
Mm.
no, no. Just background work.
Oh,
Background
okay.
actors.
Yeah. Yeah.
Background. Yeah.
Right. So you're immersed in it. What about your own writing? Do you think that you would ever see yourself writing your own play?
Well, hope. I don't know about play. We see where it goes with the book because the books has potential,
Right.
big
Okay.
potential.
Yeah, that's what everything crossed for you that matures into something good and something beneficial for you as well.
I've
Um,
always, no, sorry, I was just going to say I've always wanted to. I always got thoughts of being a one woman, um, taking that what I have, combining them and doing something, whether have a one woman show on a bigger scale, or doing a comedy course, which two of my friends has just finished, and I went to see their show, and I might just do that.
yeah, well, it sounds really creative, sounds wonderful, bringing all the elements. If you can stop convention or disrupt convention with your act. And as someone who's been in the church, I know that convention could have what 500, 600 people plus, because it's the gathering, isn't it, of all the
Yeah,
churches from that particular dominate denomination in
yeah,
one place. And I've been part of mass choirs, like that, where we all come together, and
mhm.
maybe you might have a youth convention. So one of the days would be given over to the young people to
That's right.
express
That's the
themselves.
talent
And
show I was talking about. Yeah,
right. So even if you can
Congress.
do that on your own at that
That is
age, with
true.
you know, I do believe that you're quite invincible in terms of what you decide to do next. It's not your first rodeo, as
Mm.
they say. So I'm looking forward to hearing more about your book and more about your one woman show. So we are already in February and
Mm.
March is literally around the corner. What's in the pipeline for you going forward? What do you see yourself doing aside from the book and the one woman show? What do you aspire to do next?
Well, I think I can't focus on anything else. Well, I won't say I can't. I would just say I will see where faith takes me. My eyes is in the book. I can't split
Right.
myself. I don't know where the play is going to take me. I'll focus on the books. I don't want to get too tied up. Well, I can't get too tied up because that's the whole idea of acting and doing what you feel you need to do. So the book is fine. The books are fine.
Yeah.
That's my
Oh, that's
focus.
wonderful. Do you know Paulette? Paulette German Harris
Yes,
or Harris
yes,
German?
yes.
Okay, yeah, she's a friend of the family, and I know that she's just finished her film. I think it was her master's in film production.
Hmm.
Just graduated with that, and she also has a one-woman show that was based
Yes,
on a character from Windrush that went down in incredibly, incredibly well. Um, yeah, so I'm here thinking, right, maybe some kind of studying along that lines as well. Um, I could easily see why didn't I get married turned into a film production. And
I mentioned that
if
today.
that's,
Funny enough.
did you? Okay.
Yes,
And
because
if that opportunity was to come along for you, is that something, are you still interested in playing that principal role?
my goal or my dream or my heart's desire is to be in drama series and film.
Right.
So yes, the answer is yes. Yeah.
Well, as that said, you have read Loving the Brothers.
Love and
Have
the
you read
Brothers.
Loving the Sisters? Have you read Loving the
I sure
Sisters?
have. I sure
Okay,
have both of your books.
I'm really glad to know that. And for our listeners out there, they are my novels. And you also auditioned to play Rose as when the audiobook happens. So that's very much something that I would still like you to do. I still have your audition clip on my laptop as well. Do you see yourself diversifying? Because I mean, you can do Scouse really well. No doubt you can do a Jamaican accent really well as well. Is that something that you could see in your future in terms of reading or narrating audiobooks?
Yeah, simple as that. Yeah, because it's funny when I did Queen Phillipa, there was a few people who said, "Oh, I love your voice. I can listen to you all day." And I'm like, "Oh, really? Okay, cool." So I guess I've got the voice too. So and
Yeah, it's
that was my
just,
natural voice.
oh, that was your natural voice.
That
Yeah,
was my
yeah,
natural voice. So
yeah.
Scouse, I guess, Jamaican. Anytime you want me for chat, Jamaica ain't, even I made sure, if you notice, anyway, I don't want to do any spoilers.
No, was it going to be a spoiler?
Well, for
Is it a
those who
spoiler?
hasn't been, those who haven't seen the play. But I did,
Right.
if you notice, I did drop a little Jamaican.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
A little
And very poignant, for someone that was speaky spokey throughout. Obviously you're a professional in that play. To drop that in, yeah, I think was just absolutely amazing. And in real life, I have dropped my Barbadian accent into a board meeting. I didn't have any intention of doing so, but when you're immersed and when you're in Barbados, you come back fresh off the boat, as it were, into a board meeting. And my manager, who is Jamaican, asked me something, and I went into pure Bajan, and she just laughed. But our colleagues around the table just like, what did she say? Didn't quite catch it because I didn't really want the message to go to them. And it's interesting as
exactly.
professionals how we can code switch when we're ready, and that's what I liked about the play as well. I think at some point the majority of the characters slipped into one accent
Yeah,
or
that's
another.
true.
Yeah.
And
So tell me,
Courtney,
you're going to be in Leicester on the 1st of March. um,
I'm not sure if I am, but the
potentially,
play will be.
potentially, but
Yeah.
the play is. What's happening next? Because now I've seen it and I've been promoting it on my social media. People are asking me as though I'm directly connected with the play. Are asking me, "Oh, when are they coming to Nottingham? When are they coming to?" And I don't know. Do you have an idea of where the play's likely to go next?
Yeah, it is going to Nottingham in March.
All right.
Um, what date is it in March? I know it's May. Okay, Leicester, the 1st of
Yeah.
March. 24th, it's going to be in Beck Theatre, and 25th is going to be in Fairfield Hall of March, and I think the 1st of May it's going to be in Nottingham.
Right.
But
Right.
either
Okay.
way, either way, the details will be at the bottom of this video, right?
I can do that. I can put in a slot to update everybody and to let them know as soon as have confirmation of where that's going to be. I can do and I can go back in and do that.
Mhm.
But is there a website for the play that people can go on, which is just about this production?
There is one that is coming soon. I think they're in the process of doing that, but it will be fine. It's on social media. It'll be on Alan Charles's Facebook page. It'll be on my um, Instagram, most definitely.
Yeah.
It'll be on my sister M Queen Instagram page. or Miss
Okay,
Good?
I can add those details to I can add those details afterwards, post production, as it were. But I suppose this is the time now that you never know who's listening. You never
Mm-hmm.
know who is going to, decide that they're going to watch this podcast. Do you have something that you want to say or ask for or attract, to come to you during this interview? And
Well,
while
I
you're
did
thinking
say,
about that, I'm gonna say that what happened to me was is that when I had the author to author podcast, I wanted a publisher. And the whole point of doing the podcast was you never know who's out there, who's listening. And it
mm,
happened. Well, she found me through my podcast. So now's your time to ask to, if you had to speak directly to somebody out there, what would you ask for?
where do I start? I've mentioned about my book. Anybody for support in my with my books? I um I would have be open for the conversation for that. I am interested. Come and see the play or have a look on my Instagram page. I am interested in doing a drama series, being in film more than this stage. I've done a lot of years of stage.
Yeah.
I've done film, very minimal amount of film and drama series is where I want to be at. I want to work. See, we don't have many films that incorporates the Caribbean and Africa or Africans in the Caribbean. We are one. Can we try and combine us and have accents flowing? That would be so amazing. There's not many that have that, but hey, I'm calling in that too because I'm willing to travel as well. We need sponsorship for the play
Yeah.
if you want one. If you want, why didn't I get married in a country or a place near you? Just connect. We are ready. We are ready.
Well,
Just
that
be
would be
booked in.
wonderful to see it in Africa, the
Oh my
Gambia
goodness.
or
Yes.
Ghana,
Yes.
Nigeria. Um, I do remember stepping off of the out of the car and walking into the university at Bays, and I said, this feels like we're in a Nollywood movie, and they have a history, a film,
Yes.
culture, production, and they have their own stars as well. And
And
I could
Ghana.
see how easily. Um, why didn't I get married? And any other production could do
Yeah.
very well there as well. There's probably just a few tweaks in terms of translation and what people get, but
Mhm.
it's not it's doable. And I do believe that comedy and faith-based comedy um, is understood globally. It's not just
Mhm.
linked to our experience. Um, can you say a little bit about what the definition is of church hurt? Because it gets mentioned, but I don't think people quite understand what it is.
Definition. Church hurt. Okay. For the single sisters, there are church hurt is a big subject. I mean, okay, we're focusing on the play. We're
Yeah.
talking about relationships and how you could be. I mean, it's similar in church or outside of church. Relationship is a relationship,
I think
um,
absolutely.
but in the sense of when the church tell you to come in, be a part of this church, do pay your tithes, be part of the women's department, help the church grow, evangelize, um, you know, join the Bible, go to the Bible class, go to the cell group meeting and live your life in the church. Basically, come every day. And if you don't attend, it's like you're backsliding if you don't attend. And it's a pressure. And you become part of that lifestyle. And when you are part of the lifestyle and you're a single woman, and the ratio in the church is 7
Yeah.
women to 1 man, what happens to the 6? And so there's a lot of women in their 50s and 60s, never been married and never had any children. But they're hurting. There's many who left, had their children outside, and maybe returned. Some never returned because of this lifestyle, or what can I say? Just basically just trying to become your best Christian person that you want to be. But at the same time, you're being hurt because your personal desires are not being met, whatever the desires are. Like, to be honest, I started to go to church as an adult when I was 21 years old.
Right.
I wanted to be a model, and I remember being told that I can't. And I remember speaking to a brother in the church who, just having a conversation, just a regular conversation. And
Right.
he was like, why not? Why can't you be? And it wasn't like somebody who was in my church. It was in a fellowship. It was in a conference. So it was somebody I was just talking to, just having a conversation. He was like, and he was in the elder, he was a bishop's son, like, and he was like, why can't you be? And I'm like, yeah, because the church is, and I was in conflict. I was in conflict. But then 2022, I became Miss Elegance UK.
That's right.
And I,
Yeah.
and I never, thank you. And I never, it was just a time of my life where I just, okay, I'll just do it because I've always wanted to not necessarily be part of a pageant. The last time I was in a pageant, I was in 16 in school in Jamaica. And I thought, why not? I've got the time. My daughter's grown, just different things. And I'm like, why not? And I won. I'm like,
Oh, wow.
wow. And somebody said, after I won, they said, you're going to go and claim your crown back the next year. I'm like, nope, thank you. Been there, done that. I'm fine. Because even in that circle, the sisters, was just a little bit overwhelming. And, I'm okay. Been there, done it. I won. I don't need to go again. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean,
There's no.
100% hear that. My son's godmother had her own card company specializing in black cards, Christmas cards, and so on. And obviously, she wanted her godchildren to take part in a photography session to promote.
Mm,
And there were some poor behaviors, not by the babies were the best behaved. It was the adult women who were there wanting to position their child to look the best and do the best. There was no competition. It was just a photography session for our children. But actually dipping into the goodie bags to make sure that they had the best of what was being offered for free, and those kind of antics that really put me off. And when the opportunity came up to do that again, we just declined because we just found it, too stressful to be in that kind of environment and keep your baby entertained
Safe.
and happy and safe and everything else. I can see that that kind of industry can be very highly competitive when it need not be. We heard people talk about crabs in a barrel and things like that. I don't actually think that there are any crabs in a barrel. I think that we've been led to believe there can only be one of us. And that means we have to all compete to be that one.
That one.
Whereas, you know, as far as I'm concerned, there is room on the shelves for everybody's book. I'm not in competition with you, and you're not in competition with me, because actually there's an empty shelf of books that need to be filled. And by the same token, you can have more than one, black model at a time who's up there. So it's very interesting that you said that you did it. You've been there. You got the T-shirt and you got out as well, but you still realized your dreams despite the potential backlash that could have followed as a
Mhm.
result of you doing that and of you following your dreams. So speaking of dreams, you've mentioned quite eloquently that we need sponsorship for our productions to continue. And sponsorship, what does that look like as well? We need investors, don't we? Companies and
Yes.
organizations that have money that can, hire big theatres like Hackney, Empire, and so on,
And the
um,
resonant.
and to obviously pay people for what they're worth,
Yes.
in terms of, the whole back office and production team needs to be paid. Um, I would like to see Why Didn't I Get Married have a better set than it had when we were at Hackney, because you have the investment to be able to. By the way, you wore some glorious clothes on on the stage as well that really suited you and suited your role.
Okay.
Who
Thank
who
you.
decides that and who puts all of that together?
We, as an individual, everybody who, the clothes we wore is the clothes we have. It's our
Right,
clothes. Yeah, it's not a wardrobe per se.
right. But we're putting that out there that you need a wardrobe, you need
Mhm.
designers, you need runners, you need production assistants and all of that. You
Team.
need a whole production team to help get our stories
Mhm.
out there. Miss I think we've come to the end of this podcast interview. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this and for taking part. I feel as though I know you a little bit better than I knew you before. Are there any final words that you wanted to say?
I also want to say that it's not just why didn't I get married? Windrush, The Betrayal is a powerful play that I was in that needs to be a yearly play
Right.
because we did portray real life people. So just to commemorate those people on a yearly basis of the things they went through, I just want to thank you for this opportunity that I'm able to just sit down, relax, and hang out with you and just speak our truth. Um, and just, you know, make me even think about other things and what I'm planning to do, what I want to do. And yes, I'm going to speak with you again further whenever we've got time. And, thanking you for this opportunity, for this platform that you've embarked on, which is very powerful and very much needed because there's so many, I mean, keep saying but there's people who need their voice to be heard. And that's why I started a platform called Kaumba Showcase just before lockdown,
Okay.
which, yeah, which was helping people with their talent and people's voices to be heard. And more people are doing it, and it's YouTube and all of these platforms is the new TV. People's not even watching their TV much anymore. Well, I'm not.
No, no,
Social
I'm
media.
exactly the same as well. I haven't watched the news for quite some time, but all my information that I get now, I can just Google what I need to do I need to know on my phone. And I guess it's if something really crucial and important happened out there, somebody would pinch me and tell me that it has happened. But you're right. I mean, I call myself one of the oldest podcasters in the world because it tends to be a young person's thing to start a podcast. But I do want to celebrate people in our community who are doing amazing things, who
Mhm,
have a whole body of work, who have a legacy that they want to share with others, and have important news that they want to share with the world as well. And so far, so good. It's been going down, really, really well. The uniqueness is that I will be chasing you up for another interview towards the end of the year because I'm intrigued to know now what this book is. These two self-help books are about, and how that connects with the work that you're already doing, and the people that you're already supporting since the pandemic. I'm really intrigued to know all of that. But for now, Miss I, thank you very much for being on the Unedited Conversations podcast, and stay in touch. Let me know how you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.